Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I have a layout process video to share today with the challenge of go big or go home. And what that means is that we are going to use a large embellishment as a feature of our layout. I had created this photo frame from some cut files that I designed, and I shared those cut files over on my blog, and if you're interested in that, I will link you up. But I did turn the cut files into this finished frame project, and I'm going to put that to use on my layout today, featuring some birthday dinner photos of my daughter from this past January. And we tried to have a birthday party for her, but it kind of got bogged down with both COVID and busy teen schedules, and so we ended up celebrating at home by making homemade sushi. So that is what this layout is all about. I did have a little bit of a tricky time trying to figure out how I wanted to lay out this page because my daughter's looking off to the left in all these photos. And I tried to have the subjects looking towards another element of the page, a title or the journaling or other photos. But it didn't quite work out that way on this layout. And so I just have to roll with it. And as I was talking about that, I've pulled out some other bits and pieces to help build up the rest of this design, including a block to hold my title. And I'm using my Counterfeit Kit this month, which I had specifically put together with this felt in there and these circle dies so that I could cut felt with my dies. Now, I thought I had used this circle die set with this felt in the past, and possibly not, because no matter what I did with my die cut machine, it was not working out. I tried extra shims, I tried running it through multiple times, and it still hadn't cut. Now, I've had plenty of luck cutting felt in the past, and I thought I had used this die before, but I don't know, it just wasn't working. So I finished cutting these out by hand, and that's okay. There was enough of a crease in the felt from the die that I was able to get a decently straight circle. As you can see, I'm just cleaning up a tad bit there because it wasn't perfectly straight. So I'm gonna have to play around with these dies and felt some more and see what I missed because I really thought this should have worked. So I'm using 3 places with this felt and adding doilies to them to build up kind of that visual triangle with 3 different areas. One will hold my title, as you can see me working on there. And that title is from a Vicky Bouton, like puffy, thicker ephemera pack from a slightly older collection. And I will get those glued down. Now they are sticky letters, but because one, that sticky by itself isn't super trustworthy, but 2, because this is going on a felty, fuzzy texture, I do want to make sure that I add extra glue to keep everything in place. I did add a little bit of a subtitle here, and you'll see me change this up a bit later. Because this is a page that's going with other pages where I've already talked about this being a COVID birthday, that subtitle of COVID birthday number 2 is kind of redundant in terms of the series of layouts that I'm doing. So we'll get to that. In the meantime, I am doing a little bit more embellishing because I did use that giant frame there. I do want to kind of pull in more frame elements to this layout to have that one in particular stand out just a little bit more. I'm adding some, it's got kind of a gold foil print to this acetate frame. Now I do have a frame down on the bottom left photo, and then the upper frame I just trimmed off and used the golden part. Okay, you saw me trying to move that subtitle, but it was stuck down too much. So I shifted gears a little bit, and I'm going to use this other frame to hold the actual, what I came up with as the actual subtitle to this layout, which is going to say homemade sushi dinner, because really that's what this layout is about. And the remember this seemed a little out of place when I was talking about, when the subtitle was COVID birthday number 2, because I'd already talked about that on another layout, like I said. So when I put the remember this homemade sushi dinner, that really plays in better to the story that I'm telling here. So sometimes the titles that you come up with do kind of matter in terms of your overall storytelling process. And as I'm working with these little letter stickers from a Simple Stories alphabet sticker book, I am trimming them down and overlapping them to really get them to fit into that section, because I hadn't left quite enough room to do that job because it was an afterthought. So sometimes I squeeze things in. I bet you do too. Here I am. I've got a frame, like a Polaroid picture stamp that I'm going to do my journaling on. So this is another frame element that I'm adding to this layout for that frame repetition. And I will just fussy cut those out. And then once I've got them ready to go, I'm looking around and I see that the little cutoff piece from that title frame can tuck in down here. And I like to keep any of those cut off remnants and tuck them on another area for consistency and again for repetition. So I filled in my journaling, and then that second journaling spot had a little footnote to it. So I cut off a little strip of paper and added that footnote to that. And then after I get the other journaling tucked in, I will put that little footnote down there at the bottom. And there's not going to be too much more to this layout, just a couple of these kind of brad elements here. These are a Simple Story prongless brad product, which I really appreciate the no prong feature of modern brads. So I am getting a few of those in there, and I thought I was gonna like do more embellishing on this layout, but really that just feels like enough. That big frame draws in the eye, and I've told all the story I needed to tell. So that finishes off the layout for this time around. I hope you enjoyed something about this project, and if you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up because that really does help my channel. And I will be back on Friday with the SCT Sampler Kit unboxing and project, so I do hope you will join me for that. Until then, have an artful day.